Okay, I think we should be live. We should be
All right.
cranking away. Woo. Hey, this is Bill Mason.
And Darcy Dunker. Hi, everybody.
We're super excited to see you today. We're here to talk about how we can have conflicts resolved. Super thrilled to be with you. Tuned in here at the Facebook Live. We're hitting the digital streets to get the word out about some stuff we have coming up. Like I said, I'm Bill Mason with Rockfield Coach, and Darcy Dunker. We're here with We Align Coaching as well. And today we're going to be zeroing in on honing in on conflict and how focusing on your strengths can reduce your conflict by up to 49%. What do you think about that?
I love the data.
I love data.
You know, this is one of those things about strengths. It's like I've known about strengths for a while. I love strengths. I coach people on strengths. We really focus on all of that, all the stuff we've been talking about. But this conflict resolution piece is new for me. And oh my gosh, you know, knowing your strength, everything is transformative about strengths, I think, right? But this piece right here, it's like, oh, yes, that's why. And this is it. And it's made my life a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You know, almost all my normal clients, we have a 3-month deep dive that we do as we dive through the Cliftons. All of them, I usually encourage them, hey, if you'll give me another friend that you have or a spouse or a teammate and you get their Cliftons, then I'll show you how you're having conflict, where you probably have relational friction that you wish would go away. Because, you know, we've all been there. A new person comes to work and they're like the best friend ever, right? But then about 4 or 5 months in, they start to get really annoying. And you're like, oh my God, they keep doing that. What is wrong with them? You know, an easy example, I don't have discipline, which is one of the talents that creates order. So it's really hard for me to create order. So you think, my desk is currently piled full of stuff, right? And I used to really bother me. People are like, oh, you're such a pig. I can't believe you can't keep your desk, your desk straight and blah, blah, blah. And I would get online. I got online and got pictures of Steve Jobs' desk and Bill Gates' desk and all these great men who have been super creative, and they've just like their office is just exploding. I'm like them, you goofuses, right? And especially because, you know, if you're super ordered, you're probably not creative. So you're not going to be somebody who creates something, right? But the problem is I lose stuff. You know, I mostly know where it's at. It's in the pile about a third of the way down. I just pull it out, right?
Somewhere on the left side of my room.
Somewhere on the left side. We keep it over here, you know, pretty cool. So it's interesting how this tension, this friction, emotional friction that we have never really goes away, because it's kind of like the example I like to give is if I'm right-handed and I have a best friend who's left-handed and we eat at lunch every day together, if we sit in the wrong seat, we're going to bang elbows every time. And I'm going to think, what is wrong with you? Would you please use the other hand to use your fork? And he is going to think, would you please, God, use the other hand to use your fork? And it's never going to change. We could fight about it and fight about it and fight about it, but we're going to keep banging elbows. But the reality is, if we just change seats and go, oh, you're left-handed, maybe you should use your left hand, right? Got it. Super crazy. You know,
before we actually dive in further to the topic, though, I wanted to mention that the reason we've been doing this and hitting these digital streets is because we are releasing a beta of a course that we have put together that we're feeling really great about. And it's all about awakening that Titan within and really just honing in on your strengths. And right now, because this is in beta, we're offering this as an on us. As long as you finish the course and you give us some feedback. And so you'll notice that in the link, in the, comments below or wherever. I
just posted it right now.
Okay. In the description of this, you're going to see that we have a link there to join our course and also the code, which is on our tab with spaces in between. So 3 separate words on our tab, and that'll allow you to join at no cost so that you can experience this 3-day expiring mini course. It doesn't start until Monday, and then the content needs to be finished by Wednesday. So we'd love for you to join. So, all right, Bill, what were you saying?
Oh, no. I just dropped that code in there, Tara, on your tab. And just a reminder, right? You got 3 whole days, but it's going to expire. You could keep it for your entire lifetime if it's that good. And if it's not that good, give us feedback on module 3 that, hey, we'll make it even better. And we'll do this again and show you. but eventually we'll start charging. You can either pay us the $99 if you want to pay us $99. We'd be glad to take it. But if you'd like to do it for free on our tab, and so we can provide it for you, just put in that little code. And when you put it on the code on the sales page, it should drop to 0. If it doesn't, don't hit enter. Email me or email Darcy so we can help you figure out why it's not working. Because we've had a couple glitches, so be aware it could be a little glitchy. But that's why we're doing a beta test. It's a beta test. We're going to beta until it's perfect. We're just call us Microsoft. We're going to release stuff. It's not going to work right, and then you're going to help us fix it.
Love it.
Hope to see you at the mini course. It'd be super cool to have any of you guys out there come join us.
All right. So, I know I always start off, right? But I want to know, like, when in your life, whether it be in your personal life or your career, have you used strengths as a conflict resolution?
Yeah. So, I spent most of my life, I've, from our Cliftons, I'm going to pop my thing on real quick. I have a lot of yellow, which means I like to influence. Yellow themes are influencing themes, right? So I have a lot of yellow. So I'm pokey. I'm a lot to take at times, So when I was young, and I was pretty arrogant, man, I'm an external processor. I think I'm right. I love to communicate. I'm happy. I'm excited. I know I used to joke, hey, I want to be the class clown. And I didn't care if you were laughing at me or with me, as long as we're laughing, that's what's important, right? And I love to influence people, but because I like to push on people and influence people and push buttons, then I've made a lot of my friends really angry at me at times. And I could never quite figure out why. Because I thought, well, this is who I am. This is so natural. Doesn't everybody want to do this? Doesn't everybody want to do this? And it took me a few years to figure out, people don't like their buttons pushed. I actually kind of like my buttons pushed. It's kind of fun, right?
It is fun.
But others do not like that. So, and I married my wife who is harmony really high, which means she does not like tension and she does not like friction in our relationship. So we had a lot of arguments about, I would push buttons and she would get angry and she'd start crying. I'm like, oh no, I broke my toy. Not cool, right? That's bad. And then I feel like a total jerk, right? Really, it's only been in the last 5 or 6 years that through the Cliftons and through seeing the differences of these talents, that these talent differences create this friction. And it's really opened to my eyes that, oh, I'm just like punching this guy in the face and I don't understand that I'm doing it. Because I wouldn't mind, it's jujitsu. If you're doing jujitsu, choke me out. Yeah. I'm having troubles figuring out. Guys are like, no, go finish. Choke all the way out. Choke until I tap. I'm like, that seems mean. But if that's what you want me to do, I'll do that. But, we can't do that on the street. We just can't grab people by the collar and try to choke them out. People get all frustrated with you. But in the mat, perfectly fine. And like the talents, some talents, once you understand them, there's no more friction. Well, the friction's still there, but there's no more conflict because now we know what's appropriate. Now I understand why you're doing that.
Yes.
How have you seen these conflicts? How strengths helped you with your conflicts, Darcy?
Well, it's funny. I was thinking of my example too, and it's so similar to yours because I'm also very high yellow. I have very high influencing themes. I have high relating themes too, which is really nice. However, I don't have the relating theme of harmony. It's number 1 for me, or the relating talent of harmony. It's number 31 for me. That's way down at the bottom, which means I am not internally wired to seek harmony. And so when there is what I see as a problem or something that I also have maximizer, needs to be made better, I'll bring it up. And my husband, so this is where we didn't know this at first. I was like, I feel like every time I bring something up, you just really dismiss me. I'll say like, hey, can we talk about X, Y, and Z? And he's like, as he walks out of the room.
Oh,
and I'm like, I know, right? What? Right. I mean, totally dismissive. And so I finally said, I feel like you're dismissing me. Like, like you're not wanting to see that this needs improvement or whatever it might be. He doesn't have maximizer. And maximizer is a influencing theme. And so if I maximize, it's better we than me, right? As an influencing theme. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just go take a hot minute and I go up to my office and I brought up my strengths and his strengths. And I was like, duh. That's where it's at. He has really high harmony. I have really low harmony, right? And so we talked about this and like how we needed to approach it. It's not that he doesn't want to make things better. It's not that he doesn't want to talk about that. It's the way that I presented it felt like conflict for him. And so
Oh,
I needed to, okay, let's do this now. Right? Because I also have activator, which is another influencing theme. So again, better we than me. Let's do this now. Let's talk about this now. And he didn't want to. He had to feel like there would still be harmony, or that we could have this discussion and still create and be in harmony in this discussion. And so I've just really, what is it called? Just transition to a different way to bring up things with him. And saying, and actually you and I talked about it once, Bill, and I'm, one of the things that I say now is like, hey, I would love to talk about this whenever, you're ready to do that. And so I have to like squelch my activator a little bit. My activator's good enough just bringing it up, but I have to give him the time and the space so that he can find right. And harmony people, they're really great. Like if this is a Venn diagram, harmony people are really great about finding what's in the middle. But I didn't give him time to do that. And so he had to pause and find the time to find out, well, what common ground do we still have? And then he could enter the conversation.
Yeah, super cool.
Seriously, has made my life so much better. And probably his too.
Yeah, of course, because it's better. My wife has harmony high at like 3, and I have it really low like you do. And we have kind of the opposite. Early on in marriage, we get into conflict. And if we get in a conflict, then she wants to talk about it because she wants to get rid of the tension, because people with harmony hate tension, right? And if it's an important relationship, they're going to have to fix this, right? And I assume your husband would eventually come back and go, hey, we got to talk about this.
Right.
So she would want to talk about it. And I think, well, if we talk about it, I'm going to say mean things because I don't know how to talk to you about these things. And then you're going to cry and I'm going to be in trouble. It's going to be my fault. I'm going to get in more trouble. So why don't we just not talk about it? Just leave it be. And she would move around, like I'll leave the living room and go to my office, and she would come to the office. Hey, do you want to talk about it? No, I really don't want to talk about it because, once again, I'm going to get in trouble. You're not in trouble. It feels like I'm in trouble. So she would follow me around. And thank God she would do that, right? Because as an early married couple, we don't know any of this stuff. And we would create conflict. And in my family, you never talk about anything. You just stuff it. You just wait long enough and never bring it up. It'll be okay. You blew up on me and yelled at me, but in a week or so, probably all right. We just don't ever talk about it. Remember that time?
Sweep it under the rug.
And so I'm not used to that. She's like chasing me around all the time. And we had made an agreement that we would always resolve conflicts before the sun comes up, right? Mm-hmm. Don't let sun go down on your anger. I'm like, oh, so we had a lot of 3 and 4 in the morning, conflicts. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, baby, I was totally wrong. I don't know what I did, but I was totally wrong. Please forgive me. I don't know what I did, but whatever I did, your feelings, please forgive me. And it would get resolved. But I'm so thankful that her strength of harmony created an environment where it forced us to just work through all these different talents, these issues. And now that we have Clifton's, it was like, oh, got it. That's why when we're in a conversation with a group of people and I'm like, ooh, tension, fun, and I will actually bring tension in. She's like, hey, don't do that. That's not. They don't like that. I'm like, but I like it.
But I like it.
But it's fun. So it makes her super uncomfortable when I do that. So she also helps me not to do that too much because I'll over throttle that thing.
And that's just like we talked about yesterday, like when you're in a partnership, whether, it's a business partnership or, a significant other relationship or whatever it is, really making sure that you're creating teams where that you're filling in those gaps, for each other. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Hey, Darcy, I wanted to remind everybody, this was, as we look at conflicts, if you took your Clifton's, I know it's one of the things you could do. When 2 people take them, like this is me and my wife, I'm on my left and my wife is on the right. As you look at this little grid that we have, if I were to get your grid between like you and your husband, I could probably tell you your top 5 or 6 arguments that you have all the time. Because just by looking at it, the grid where there's red is simply these top 15 talents, which we call signature talents, that's in conflict with these bottom talents down here, which are usually the bottom 8. They're non-talents. And so as an example, for years and years and years, before we ever knew this, I have woo at number 2. And my wife has woo at down here at 28. So I have a need, like you do, to meet new people, to network, to spend time, to grow relationships, to get a lot of new people. And my wife has no need for that. Like she has no need to eat dirt. No need, no desire to eat dirt, no need to eat dirt. Well, I have a desire to eat dirt and eat dirt, right? So we would go to a place like the gym and I'd be talking to people and we're talking and she's like, when are we leaving? like, I don't know. There's like 4 more people I got to talk to. And she's like,
That's me.
I'm about wore out. Could we please go now? When do you think we'll leave? Oh, could you give me 10 more minutes? Sure, 10 more minutes. And then 10 minutes later, can we please leave? Because she didn't have a need for that. But I have a need for that. And that created a lot of emotional friction because I thought, when we meet people, it helps our business. And when we help our business, we make money. You're being irresponsible. And she would think, you're just a loose cannons. Please stop doing this, right? And so it was funny how much it caused conflict. But this is another tool that we use that we can really help people figure out why they're having conflict and then not get rid of the friction, but put emotional oil in that. And the emotional oil is understanding, first thing, then gratitude, appreciation, and thankfulness. Like my wife's harmony annoyed me, like your husband's harmony annoys you. But it's amazing at times too. So I see this talent that I thought was a problem as a very big benefit to our marriage.
And we're talking a lot about marriage here, but this works absolutely fantastically too. If you're a people manager and there's just someone, whether it's a direct report or on your lateral team with you, that is for whatever reason, there tends to be a bit of that conflict or that rubbing and that friction or whatever. If we can put those 2 reports together, we can go, here you go. And this is how you can speak to them to actually get your point across and get them to do what it is that you would like them to do without there being that friction. It's powerful.
Exactly. One of my teams had about 20 people on them. They're construction type guys. We took them through this, showed them the conflict grids, and within about 6 months, they were ready to blow up, and there was almost no conflict afterwards. It's amazing how helpful. So you don't have to be super smart to do this. Works for everybody. It's super helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. So there we go. Conflict.
So I thought we should pop back. You want to remind them one more time what we're going to be doing this next week?
We're so excited. So basically what this is Bill and I have created this, Expiring Mini Course, which means from the time it opens on Monday, you have until Wednesday, 3 days to consume the content. The content is divided into 3 groups of about 20 minutes. And there's worksheets that go with it too. But what the really great thing about this is that because it's in beta form, and this is our first go with this, we are offering it to you guys for feedback. So you would complete the hour-long course, if you will, over 3 days. And then there's a place where you can actually earn more points because this is a point-based system. It's very fun. Gamification in there.
Gamification, baby.
Yeah, I know. And then you just give us feedback. And that's what we're looking for right now. Like, just give us some feedback here so that we can make this even better. Again, that's my maximizer. And so I'm always going to want to be making everything better. So your feedback is really important to us.
Super.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. And hey, just a reminder too, we kind of hope to start doing this a lot. So we hope to see some of y'all out there. And we're going to try to make a whole bunch more courses this year just to be able to serve people and really take people to the next level, to figure out who they are, unleash this idea of the strengths within them, and then really have better relationships with everybody. We'd like to transform the world through genuine connection and belonging. So that's our hope.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill. This has been fun.
Great to see you, Darcy. Hope everybody out there has fun, and we'll see you next week at the mini course.
Bye-bye.
See ya.